to Vantage Venues on this beautiful day. Look at that skyline. Holy cow. What a gem in the city. My name is Sandra Moniz, and I am delighted to be here on behalf of MPI Toronto Chapter as your Toronto Chapter President. Thank you so much to Vantage Venue in hosting this incredible event. We can't wait to get started. We will be moving around and moving into another space shortly and overflowing into this space. And then we've got additional awesome space to see later this afternoon if staying for the PD session. On behalf of MPI Toronto, we are so pleased to partner with IACC. This has been a bit of a dream, long time coming. And we will be working with them on two exciting events. The Copper Skill Chef Competition, highlighting the very best of conference center cuisine. As I understand it, this is the first time that it's being held in Canada. So awesome, awesome. We thank the chefs and the judges and the special guests for participating. Following this event, MPI is pleased to welcome Mark Cooper, CEO of IACC, as our first keynote speaker, who will present The Future of Meetings, an intriguing look at the future of meetings, which will include the latest food trends. Mark will invite some of the chefs to see them in action today. And we are excited to welcome as well Cher Jones, social media expert, to the PD stage to present What's Hot, What's Not, Social Media Engagement. And speaking of social media engagement, quick note and reminder to get sharing on social media, Instagram or Twitter, and using the hashtag MPITO17IACC, and that is throughout the room as well if you forget. So on that note, I'd like to invite and welcome Mark to say a couple words and get us started. Mark? I'm sorry. Andrew. Pardon me.
That's okay. Mark's right there. He's right in front of you. Yeah. You're not from Mark this afternoon. Welcome. We're so excited to have you here today. We're thrilled about the partnership that IAC has developed with MPI that was newly launched this year. And today is just a great opportunity for us to launch that partnership with our signature event, which is the Copper Skillet. Just a little bit of background as to what you're about to witness today. So today is the regional competition for Canada, and from here there is a America's competition, and then the winner of the America's competition then of course goes on to the global competition. And just to give you a little bit of history, the Copper Skillet has been in existence for 13 years. And out of those 13 years, 4 of the global champions have come from Canada. So the competition at the Canadian event has always been outstanding, and it is proven in the success. Ivy Spencer out of London has won twice, including Kent Phillips, who won last year and will be competing here today. So the reigning champion is in fact here. Murray Hall from BMO Institute for Learning also won the global championship. And I'm very proud to say Vantage Venue's own Barrington Graham won in 2015, and his Copper Skillet is hanging just behind you there to have a look at what the champion ends up with at the global event. So anyways, it's very exciting. Whoever wins here, we're hoping can represent Canada and going for a three-peat. So like I said, it's just a fantastic culinary prowess that our conference centers have been able to display, having only roughly 2% of the venues across the globe in IAC, and yet winning about 30% of the Copper Skillets. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce Erin Henderson. Erin of the Wine Sister is delightfully offered to be our MC for today, so I'm super excited to have Erin here. We're going to move things very quickly from here. Erin is going to introduce the chefs right away, and then we're going to introduce the judges, and the chefs are going to get going and for their prep time, so we can move along really quickly. So here's Erin Henderson. Big step.
It's funny because Andrew, what are you, 6'4"? 6'3", 6'2"? I don't know. He's over 6 feet, and I looked at that step and I thought, how am I gonna? And I looked at him. I was like, give me your hand. Give me your hand. So anyway, I didn't wipe out. So mission 1 accomplished right there. Thanks for the lovely introduction, Andrew. I thought you were going to stop with Erin Henderson from the Wine Sisters is delightful and then end it there, but I delightfully accept it as well. And it truly is my delight to be here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the rules and what's going to unfold for the rest of the hour or so, but what I do want to do is I want to get the judges out here so we can get this party started. So Sorry, chefs. I said judges, right? Before I go on, I should let you know that I do drink for a living, so I told Andrew, set the bar low. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, so the chefs are just about ready, and so I'm going to start the introduction. They're going to come out and go into the room. First off, we have Fadi's Rec. Fadi is going to station number 1, and he is here from Vantage Venues. Next up, we have Brandon Zox. Brandon, with his lovely hat. Brandon comes all the way from the Banff Centre for the Arts and Creativity. He's actually Australian by birth, so he has a lovely accent. You should check it out. He's going to station number 2. Next up, we have Jeff Ryan. Jeff Ryan comes from the Donald Gordon Conference Centre in Kingston. He will be at station number 3. And we have Vantage Venues' own Kyle McClear. He's going to go to station number 4. Next up, we have Hannah Glintz. Hannah's from the Ivy Spencer Leadership Center. She'll be at station number 5. Yeah, that's right. And we have Ryan Bouvet. Ryan is going to station number 6, and he comes from the NAV Center with his fancy apron. I like that apron. Cheyenne Ward comes out next. Donald Gordon Conference Center in Kingston, and she'll be at station number 7. Kent Phillips. Reigning champion, Kent Phillips. He comes from the Ivy Spencer venue, and he'll be at station number 8. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Luke McCabe, sporting another fancy apron. Luke also comes from the NAV Center, and he will be at station number 9. All right, so the chefs will be taking a look around in there. They have not yet had an opportunity to see a lot of their mystery ingredients. They're going to be scoping, sussing out the environment, getting their knives prepared, and we'll get back to them in just a few minutes while they get ready. A quick little introduction about myself before I move on to the esteemed judges, and I'm thrilled and delighted to be working with these judges today. Again, my name is Erin Henderson. I come from a company called the Wine Sisters. I'm a sommelier by trade, and I was about to say by birth, but that's not true. I'm a sommelier by trade, so I have a company called the Wine Sisters, which is a wine events and sommelier services company, and in this summer I opened up a company called Drink Toronto with my business partner, food journalist Dick Snyder. And so for us, it's all beverages all the time. We're typically in the front of the house obviously being the people that you see the most, the servers, the hosts, the server assistants. I have had the up close and personal, sometimes a little too up close and personal, views of what the chefs go through every day in every service. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to perform under this clock. Before I move on to the rules of the competition, I will introduce our judges. So I'm just going to see if I can see where they are. Okay, so starting right over here, let me get my judges sheet operating. Jose, if you can just put up your hand. We have Jose Erbarin. Jose is the executive chef. Did I say that right, Erbarin? Okay. Jose is the executive chef of Barbarian Steakhouse, and Barbarians, of course, needs no introduction. One of the most esteemed steakhouses in the city. But what I also found very impressive about Jose is his ability to have worked around the world. In fact, including one of my favorite restaurants in the world, and one that I had a good fortune of visiting last year in San Sebastian, Spain, Arzac, which is a 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. Really, really exquisite stuff. So we're excited to have Jose here today. We also have Guy Rigby, and I see Guy just at the back. Guy spent 26 years at the Four Seasons worldwide, the Four Seasons Hotel. The last 9 of them were as the Vice President of Food and Beverage. He left last year to open up his own consulting company, so he's a bit of a formidable force in the food and beverage industry as well. We have Ken Hunt, who's just off to my right. Ken is the publisher of Toronto Life magazine, which I don't think needs any introduction at all. Obviously, Ken and his team at Toronto Life have huge investments in food and wine to make sure that they showcase the best of what this city has to bring. And we're excited to have him here as one of our judges today. And finally, we have Trevor. There he is, hiding in the back. We have Trevor Louis. So Trevor Louis is a guy who wears many hats. And so let me see if I get them all right. Okay, Trevor? So Trevor is involved with the International Center and their food and beverage team there. So well versed in being a judge for conference center cooking. He also is involved in 3 or 4 different restaurants in the city of Toronto. And finally, he sits on the global board for MPI Global. So he's got quite a few things to weigh in on and quite a few hats that he's judged. But you look so calm and cool and collected sitting there with your coffee in your hand.
I drink for a living as well.
Nice. We did a little high five and a little chest bump earlier. That was done in private, though, because we don't want to seem unprofessional. So I just want to I want to make sure that we don't, the clock has already started for the chefs they're going to be going through. In a few minutes, I'll invite us into that next room. Right now, the chefs are going to be going through their black boxes or their mystery boxes. They're going to be picking out their ingredients, and they're going to start work on who knows what, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. Why don't I take a few minutes to go through a little bit of the competition rules? Has everybody been to a copper skillet before? Okay, well, I'm glad that I'm going to be the one to introduce you to it. I'm not going to lie, Andrew did steal a little bit of my thunder, so I'm going to do a quick tap dance and try and figure out exactly what I want to tell you. But basically, what I think is the most important thing to understand is that IACC understands the importance of quality food in conference centers and in centers where you're going to be holding your meetings. Gone are the days of the rubber chicken dinners locked away in some basement somewhere. We all know as meeting planners, event planners, and conference managers or conference center managers that today's client and today's customer has a very high expectation. There's a sophistication that's needed, and certainly as food and wine become more popular in the mainstream media, whether it be through publications like Toronto Life, whether it be through networks like Food Network TV, that there is a high demand and a high expectation for a sophisticated clientele. So you can't just get by anymore. You need to present something that's better and faster and more exquisite than the year before, or maybe even the week before. So these chefs, I think what they're going to do today is going to be outstanding. What this will do is this will highlight not only their ability to create something that's practical for an audience of varying tastes, varying dietary needs, but they're going to be able to showcase and demonstrate their artistry. So I think it'll be really an exciting opportunity to see just exactly what they can get. There are 2 categories. The 2 categories are junior and senior, and this is what kind of stuck me in my gut a little bit. So the junior category, half the chefs in there are in the junior category, so 26 years and under, 26 years of age and under. The senior category is 26 years old and older. Like, good God, I think I'm in the ancient category. Like, I'm in the relic category. So, okay, senior 26-year-old. What do you do with that? So anyway, junior and senior in the either over or under 26 years old. I don't know. I guess that's why I drink. Okay, so what will happen is this is obviously going to be the Canadian competition, and whoever wins this cook-off will then go on to their chapter cook-offs, and then eventually they'll go on to the globals. And IACC, the Copper Skillet competition, covers the Americas, Europe, and Australia, Asia, Pacific. So Andrew touched on that a little bit. There will be, let me just see here, I want to make sure I read my own writing. I should mention that before I became a sommelier, I was actually a reporter for 10 years. And so I actually do it the old-fashioned way, and I take these notes and I scroll out in like little flip charts. So I'm like, what exactly did I say there? But as I learned in reporting, you never let the facts get in the way of a good story, so you just make it up and keep going. So anyway, so for this, the chefs are required to create a dish of 2 proteins and then other accoutrements from the pantry that they find that will work with the dish. What they are presented with are 3 mystery proteins. Of those 3, they have to use 2. So not 1 and not 3, but the 2. And they have about 30 minutes to create this dish and present it to the judges. So no sweat, right? Like I can barely put together like pierogies in the microwave, but that's why I open up a bottle of wine. I can do that with no problem. What they will be judged on are 5 different criteria. first of all, flavor. That's one of the most heavily weighted because it has to taste good, of course. It will also be weighted on their presentation, how it looks on the plate. They will be judged on their creativity, and they will be judged on their professional technique. So as somebody said earlier, like how they chop stuff, that's going to be their professional technique. And finally, and obviously we want this, is their sanitation and their ability to handle food well. So those are going to be the 5 criteria that our esteemed judges will be judging them on. Whoever moves on from the chapter cook-off will go on to the Americas in January of 2018, and then finally the globals will be happening in the spring. Now, let's see, how are we doing for time? Are we doing good? Are we doing well? I don't. It says 39 minutes.
Okay, so you got 9 minutes?
I've got 9 minutes.
But we can go in there early.
We can go in there early? Okay. Well, no, I want to take you back to the beginning. I was born in Kitchener-Waterloo. So, got 9 minutes to fill. I should tell you as well, when I was a reporter, I had 30 seconds to cover the Queen Park's budget. So, 9 minutes is quite a long time. I do want to reiterate, we are looking to get this sort of trending on Twitter and get some of the opportunities for social media sharing up and going. You can see right there, it's all over the place. We've got the very brief hashtag of MPITO17 IACC. Thank God we've gone up to 280 characters, right? Like, woo, that's a mouthful. Don't miss out on the fun. There are going to be prizes for people who are able to take pictures and screenshots and then send them out through their social media channels. I think Andrew's giving away $1 million. There's a prize, right, Andrew? Yeah. There are a few prizes. I'm certain $1 million is part of it. I don't know for sure. But what you want to do is you want to be able to take all of your screenshots. And so what I'm going to do right now, let me get my camera up and rolling. Let me get on the square filter for my Instagram. All right, you guys have heard of the Oscar selfie? This is the copper skillet selfie. Ready? Okay, so get behind me. Here we go. Copper skillet selfie. Okay, ready? Ready? Oh, I'm going to have to do a big photo. Okay, ready? Big smiles. All right, I'm going to tweet that out, and if any of you are frowning, you're going to be really embarrassed because it's going to go up on that screen. Okay, so we do have about 9 minutes before the chefs will actually begin preparation. What we should ask you is that definitely, I think that they're a great group, they're a laid-back group, but certainly there's going to be some pressure and there's going to be some I don't know if it's high emotion, but there's definitely going to be some pressure. So certainly walk around, certainly be casual, certainly interact, but also I think it would be understandable if you sort of respect their space and the time constraints that they're under. So what I might do right now is leave it at that, stop talking at you, make sure that you get a glass of wine, and enjoy the food. So can we move into this room?
Yeah, absolutely.
And shall we go over there? So lunch is just to my right, and when you're ready, you can move into the competition room. The competition will start in about 6 minutes, and then I'll be back to chat a little bit more. Thank you.
So let's get crunk. I got 44 pods, but a chick ain't one. So put your hands in the air like When the big bass drum goes for bum bum, put my hands in the air, baby, I'm gone. When the big bass line goes for bum bum, put your hands in the air like When the big bass drum goes for bum bum, put my hands in the air, baby, I'm gone.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the cooking competition will begin in 30 seconds. If you would just like to come into the room and see the chefs work their wonders, then we will get started in about 30 seconds. All right, chefs, please begin cooking. You have 30 minutes to complete your dishes. Good luck. OPI, Porto Sherry Chutney or something. Okay. Yeah. But I was looking at your nails and I admire your ability to have long nails because there's no way that would. I said, like, yeah. Well, I just can't do it because I have, like, I just can't do it. Okay, I'm going to just do a quick Instagram story as soon as this. My damn phone just froze, so you don't do it like that. I know, right? You know what? This makes it sound like I'm being funny, but I'm not. I'm actually being quite serious when I say this practice drinking. Let me just do this really quickly. I have, and then. All right.
And she ain't gonna stop, no. And he ain't gonna stop, no. And we ain't gonna stop, no. We're gonna be somebody. and she struggles. Yeah, she works for what she needs. She don't
Can you
worry
hear me?
about the situation.
Am I on? Is it
Yeah,
on?
she's living for the
Okay.
dream.
So we have revealed our 3 mystery proteins. Chefs need to cook with 2 of the 3. So as mentioned earlier, not 1, not 3, but 2 of the 3. Our 3 mystery proteins today are duck, escargot, and flank steak. So here we have, looks like we have a little duck going on in the pan, a little bit of orange from Kyle McClure. There we go. All right, here. Obviously, we've got some flank steak happening from Hannah Glintz on station 5. Ryan Beauvais of the Nav Center, sauteing a few onion. It looks like we have different shiitake and portobello, different mushrooms happening. Chef Cheyenne Ward doing a little bit of flank steak. We have that marinating. It looks like with a little bit of garlic, a little bit of oil. What was that?
Salt, pepper, and chicken stock.
Looks good. And Kent Phillips, the reigning champ from last year. We've got some stuff boiling, some flank steak searing, some cream going in, some shallots. All right, this is getting exciting. And here at Station 9, Luke McCabe. Oh, this is staying a mystery.
I'm actually smoking, trying to smoke the flank steak in time beforehand, so we'll see if that turns out okay.
That's exciting. Well, again, we've got some shiitake mushrooms, so some nice stuff happening here. We'll just sort of go around to the other side and see if we can talk to a judge or two. Trevor, you look like you're hard at work. I'm sorry that I just interrupted you.
Not at all.
What exactly are you looking for here, and what are you seeing so far?
Well, it's an interesting mix of ingredients, particularly when you throw the escargot in. When you take a look at plating and creating a dish, one component we're looking at, obviously, is this is for conference centers, so scalability is really important. So you could look for a restaurant quality style dish, but we want to see if that dish can be scaled out for numbers, because venues are much bigger, right, as opposed to in a restaurant setting.
So I guess a nice way to put that for those of us who don't have a professional cooking background, it's like cooking dinner for your family and then cooking dinner for your extended family at Thanksgiving.
Correct. So finding a balance is really important. So we're looking for balance as well.
And then for escargot, that's a curious ingredient. How well does that work in a conference center or in a large-scale environment?
Without giving away too much, I mean, one of the things, from a venue perspective, when I'm on the venue side, is taking a look at special dietary requirements. And a lot of times that's something that we are looking at, not just at gluten-free and lactose intolerance and all the shellfish intolerance and all that things. So that is another one. But, having the creativity and giving balance and flavor and uniqueness to a dish is also something very creative they can have at a venue that you don't see. People may not be looking for that in a convention or conference center. So,
Thank you very much. I'll come check with you in a little bit, okay? Really? Okay. You want to strike that balance between hot and zero? Can you hear me? All right, so chefs are about 10 minutes into their cooking so far, and it looks like things are well underway. Here we have Jeff Ryan from the Donald Gordon Conference Center. We've got some escargot on the go. That's kind of exciting. A few little vegetables, some nice steak searing. Over here, look at this beautiful duck breast. This looks terrific. Really nice color on that. Coming in from Brandon Zox out of Alberta. Got some fresh herbs. Got some nice duck. And here on station number 1, Fatty's Rick. Kale, carrots, some nice pomegranate, some really nice fall flavors happening. Everything portioned out really nicely. Exciting to see this all come together. I'm open to direction. There is no confirmation.
Come on in. I've been waiting for you. Sit down, relax. You know, I got a few things I've been thinking about. I'd like to share them with you. I know things have been a little strained around here lately because of all the stuff going on outside the house. You know, the pressure, the house, 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 the pressure. Come on in. I've been waiting for you. Sit down, relax. You know, I got a few things I've been thinking about. I'd like to share them with you. I know things have been a little strained around here lately because of all the stuff going on outside the house. You know, the pressure, the house, the pressure, the house, the pressure, the house, the pressure.
All right. So here we are with Ken Hunt, publisher of Toronto Life. Ken, you're a big foodie. You are probably out for dinner at least 5 nights a week. What are you looking for here?
Well, obviously, the only superpower that you have as the publisher of Toronto Life is the ability to get a restaurant reservation whenever you need one. But being a consumer-focused publication, what I'm looking for is for food that tastes great. And I really appreciate creativity. especially when you eat out a lot, you wind up eating similar things quite a bit. So if there's a fresh approach, and then I'm looking for fresh, clean, true flavors. Without too much going on, things that let the integrity of the product speak for themselves.
One of the things that Toronto Life is really great at is taking consumers and readers behind the scenes. Your last article, or excuse me, your last magazine, had that very controversial article about a gentleman who opened up a restaurant thinking because he loved to cook and found out it was a little bit more than just being able to love to cook. So do you think events like this help home cooks understand a little bit more about what goes on?
Sure. One of the most amazing things about working at Toronto Life is having some deep connections to chefs and a lot of people in the hospitality industry. And I think a piece like the one we just published helps people understand just how hard this job is. Everyone that I speak to who works in this industry works long hours. They're not incredibly well remunerated. They do it because they have a passion for it and they love to feed people and make them happy. And it really is one of the most beautiful things in the world to see people do that really, really well.
Perfect. Thank you for your time. All right. So we're back now with Kyle McClure from Vantage Venues. It looks like we've got some sort of bechamel, some sort of creamy sauce. What's happening here?
So that's a orange beurre blanc. That's just a little bit of orange zest, orange juice, fish stock, white wine, some herbs, and that'll be going as the sauce, sort of to accompany the escargot.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling good here?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Great. Now you are not as actively involved in St. Andrews anymore, are you?
No, I'm not.
All right, so we already have some plating going on. Chefs, you have about 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes, chefs. Judges, this means that you should start to move into the judging room. And most chefs are already starting to plate, so it looks like this is going to get very good, very fast. 3 minutes, chefs. And judges, could we please have you start moving into the judging room? All right, chefs, and that is time. Please put everything down. You are done. Please bring any plates that you have remaining into the judging station and stop your cooking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for now, for the next few minutes, the chefs will be headed into the judges' room where the panel will be discussing, tasting, trying, and rating each dish. We have a few minutes where please, the lunch is still going on, so please go to the other room if you haven't had a chance to try any of the delicious food here at Vantage Venues. Continue to do your social networking and continue to wander around. Shortly, we will be moving for the networking session downstairs. All right, are you guys ready for some interviews? All right, come on over. If you can have your back towards all the action, and then that way we can chat a little bit. Your back towards the nice view. All right, just so they can have the correct spelling of your name underneath, can you just say and spell?
RyanBeauVais.
Okay. So Ryan, how did you feel about the competition today? Was this your first time?
No, it's been probably my 7th time. Not here, but I've done longer competitions, but this is really tight, so it was really just an amazing experience.
Amazing or nerve-wracking?
Both. I love it, though. It's awesome.
And so what did you end up making? I didn't get to see your final dish. I know the judges have it now.
Yeah, I made a pan-seared duck with a mushroom and escargot risotto, some cherry tomatoes for just a little bit of acidity to bring up the plate because the risotto is heavy, and yeah, that's it.
So maybe a new menu item for your venue.
Talk to my chef.
Thank you. So let's go over here. We'll talk to you. Ready? Yeah, let's go. Okay, so maybe you can come out a little bit. Sure. All right. All right, so Kent Phillips, what was your dish?
I made a smoked paprika flank steak with a seared medium rare duck breast, creamy herb polenta. We did a citrus pomegranate salsa for the duck and a red wine aged balsamic gastrique for the flank.
Now, I know you took last year's competition. How did this differ from last year, or was it just like old hat for you?
We show up, we cook for 30 minutes, we wait around for 4 hours beforehand. It's great.
All right. So overall, thumbs up is what you're saying.
Yeah, these are great events, especially for the younger contestants. Keeps them interested, keeps them happy, keeps them going, gives them a break from the daily grime of banging out prep, and potential to win something and move on is a great experience for them.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Thank you. All right. Cheyenne, do you want to come and have a chat? You're gonna pass? Okay. Who else do I have? Ah, here we have Luke. Luke, are you ready? Yeah, sure. Okay, can you come out a little bit? Is that okay? All right. Okay, I really like that apron.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Luke, we have your spell. Just can you spell your name? Luke McKay.
Yeah, LUC. Yeah, so I did, we smoked the flank steak in some thyme, and then I did a escargot kind of white wine potato risotto to accompany with it. Then we just did some kind of semi-charred tomatoes to give it a little bit of bitterness to it, and then we just did a fresh fennel chive top.
Typically, the way I understand it, flank steak, being a bit of a tougher cut, usually it's marinated for a really long time, if I understand correctly. What are the pressures of making a flank steak in 30 minutes?
The biggest thing is just not to overcook it and just kind of get it a quick sear, let it rest, and then just let that meat kind of speak for itself. I think if you try and cook it too much, you're going to run into that toughness without that time to marinate.
And what about for competitions where you do have this 30 minutes? Is that valuable for a chef, or is it does it just appeal more to your competitive side? What's the appeal to coming in cooking in 30 minutes?
I think it's very valuable. Again, like Kent said, it gives them a chance to break up their day to day. But again, any a la carte restaurant, you're trying to pump a meal out on Friday night in under 20 minutes. 25 minutes as long as you want your table sitting. So I think this gives a bit of reality to sometimes the challenges we're faced with. You get a client who comes in with allergies, but they need to eat now. So you need to be kind of timely. So I think it's a lot of fun for us, and it is beneficial.
Great. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Enjoy.
Hello. I need you, just so I don't have to reach as far, maybe we can, and then you can stand by. Oh, some nice background. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have Hannah. And Hannah, what was your creation today?
So I was thinking of doing a play on sweet and savory because I went to culinary school and I also did a baking program. So sweet is kind of my specialty. The duck kind of threw me for a bit of a loop, so I tried to do a cream mushroom duck and a kind of, I guess, Asian-inspired soy sauce glaze, a little bit of garlic shallot and some curry powder, chili powder and smoked paprika with some coined red potatoes and the green beans and zucchini. So
you really only had 15 minutes to prepare before you could start cooking, and you touched on your baking background. What are the inspirations that can hit you when you know you've got to get something done in 30 minutes? Where did you take your inspiration from overall?
Well, I kind of had a plan kind of going in, so I kind of just rolled with it, tweaked some few things, kind of tried to, I guess, think of flavors that go together well. So
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good luck.
thank you.
Oh, okay. I'll just follow along. Okay, perfect. Can you come out a little bit? All right. Do you want to be more? You're good. You're good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Kyle, what was your dish?
So what I did was a little bit of potato hash with the escargot. I used the duck fat from the rendered duck breast kind of to mix in with it, kind of made it a little bit French style. And then I did a little bit of Asian style on the duck. So I did a French, classical French sauce with a little bit of Asian flair to it. I did a beurre blanc with some soy, some orange to play to the duck, kind of play that Asian feel. So it's kind of hopefully a good mix between Asian and French.
And so these competitions are bringing together the best of the best. And there's obviously going to be significant challenges. You're not actually in a kitchen. You have to use bottled water. You don't have running water, all of these kinds of things. What were some of the significant challenges, or what were some of the challenges that you had to sort of overcome versus normally working in a working kitchen?
The biggest challenge for me this time was because we were the host venue, just trying to get everything sorted in the back for our regular business. This I've done a few times, and I think I'm getting a little more comfortable with it. So the bigger challenge for me was what was going on business-wise at Vantage Venues today.
Okay, well then, as a veteran Copper Skillet contestant, what would you say if somebody's watching this video and they're coming in for the first time next year? What would be some of the things that they should do to keep an eye out?
I think being organized in your first 15 minutes before the clock starts is the most important thing. When they give you time to set up your station, you need to make sure that everything is exactly where it needs to be, and you know where that is. So there's no extra time to waste at all. Like even today, I thought I was well ahead, and I looked up, and there is 5 minutes left, and it creeps up on you pretty quickly. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll go here and then we'll swing back. Yeah. Brandon, can you come out a little bit? Would that be okay? So I don't have to reach? There we go. Perfect. So Brandon from Banff, coming all the way to Toronto. This isn't your first time in Toronto.
No, not my first time. I've been here before, just visiting and enjoying the food. So.
And being that you are from another province, I mean, obviously it's Canadian, but obviously, and then you have your Australian background where you're born and raised. Does that play any influence on your food at all?
Yes and no. I was when I saw the flank steak, I knew typical Canadian protein to work with. So it was a little bit of a curveball, but not too much. I enjoyed cooking it or preparing it anyway. But yeah, definitely the style of cuisine here is slightly different than home, but I learned to adjust pretty quickly.
And when you say curveball, what do you mean by curveball?
Well, just it's not an ingredient that I generally cook. Okay. And in Australia, it's not a prime cut, obviously, but it's not something that you see at the butchers often. So yeah, it was different.
Was this your first time in the competition?
First time in this competition, yes. In Australia, I've been in a few, especially through my younger years as a young chef. But it was a really great experience.
What did you like most about it?
I really loved the venue. The venue was great. I loved coming to the to Toronto to see a different side of Canada, being from Alberta. And I just, it was great to sort of make contacts and meet new and other chefs in the industry.
Thank you so much. Good luck. It looks delicious. All right. And Fatty. All right. Come on out and we'll go this way. All right. So Fatty, look at that. When I saw you last, you were busy prepping away with loads of autumn vegetables. What did you end up making?
Yeah, I made the duck. It's pan fried with the. I also coated the escargot with the cornstarch and the flour, and I also pan fried it. I accompanied it with some quinoa, with also wilted kale. And for the veggies, I used the yellow beans, also carrots and zucchinis, and I sprinkled on top some pomegranate.
How long have you been? I know this is obviously a competition where you don't get a lot of notice of what you're. That's the whole point of it. You don't necessarily know what you're going to be cooking with. What did you do to prepare, and how long were you preparing?
Honestly, I only got to know that I was doing this 2 weeks ago, so I didn't prepare for it. I only saw the rules. I saw a video from a year ago, and I just winged it. Yeah, I guess because you can't see the proteins, so you can't really predict what you're gonna do. You can't really pair with it the stuff. You can only imagine how you're gonna act when you're here. But yeah, it was fun. It was my first time doing a competition like this. Any other competition actually. And
how did you find the competition?
It was good, smooth. Yeah.
You'll do it again?
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Perfect. Thank you. And then we'll find. We'll just go down here because we have one more to go. Yeah. All right. I can come this corner here. All right. Right this way? Okay, perfect. All right. How do you feel everything went?
I think it went pretty well, except I had a little, I was down a burner.
Oh no, what happened?
I had a leak on my burner the first time, and then he brought me another one that had an empty canister, so I had to MacGyver it.
Wow, so that's full challenge.
Yeah.
You've been doing this though a few times, yes?
Couple times. I did it once with IACC last year in Cornwall, and I've done it a few in the past.
So, in addition to being down one burner and having that challenge, what was your reaction when you saw flank steak, escargot, and duck? What did you think?
Flank steak, great for the barbecue or a cast iron, good hot pan, but these just don't produce enough heat for a flank steak. So, I went with the escargot and I went with the duck. Last year we had duck confit, so this year we had just a raw duck breast. So that was kind of nice to see.
And how do you keep things fresh? As a chef who's now done this for a few seasons, you've been involved in a few competitions. How do you, even for just when you're working at your regular venue, not necessarily in competition, how do you keep things fresh and innovative for your guests?
You got to keep on the internet. You got to stay up. You got to go out for dinner. You got to see what's happening out there. Travel different areas. Try different restaurants. What you think you may not like, you have to try.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
check, check, check. Okay. Check, check, check. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Got everyone here? Check. Test, test, test. Okay, we're good. So yeah, while the judges are just going over the last scores and everything's being added up, now's a great opportunity to just present the certificates that are well earned for all these fantastic chefs. So can we get a quick round of applause for all the chefs here competing? Okay, so we do them one at a time. Is that what we're gonna do? They should be in order. So, Fadi Shriek from Vantage Venues. Brandon Zox, all the way from Banff. Jeff Ryan from Donald Gordon. There's Jeff. Kyle McClure, Vantage Venues. I think I know this guy. There you go. Hannah Glintz from, from Ivy. Sorry, Hannah, I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you.
Ryan Beauvais from Nav Center. Good job, Ryan. Cheyenne Ward from Donald Gordon Center. Sorry. And of course, the reigning champion, Kent Phillips from Ivy Spencer. Can't get enough of the reigning champion. Anyway. And Luke McCabe from the Nav Center. Thanks, Luke. So now the chefs are going to have to sweat it out a little bit as the final numbers are being tallied. So we're going to ask people not to go too far. We'll have a little Jeopardy countdown. If someone can maybe play a little do. But just don't go very far, and we'll have the judges back out very shortly.
wait for you, do you remember? I said I'd wait for you, do you remember? I said I'd wait for you, do you remember? I said I'd wait for you, do you remember? I said I'd wait for you, do you remember? I said I'd wait for you, do you
I don't know when. So we'll get a couple of the judges. The photographer would have gotten all the. Yeah. Based on the ship, right? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's on. All right. Do you want Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the judges will be finished deliberating in about 3 or 4 minutes, and shortly after that we will be announcing the winners. So 3 or 4 more minutes until the judges announce or come out with the tabulated results and we see who the winners are of this year's Copper Skillet. ahead, Sheena. Okay. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. We are about to, the judges have come out, they've tabulated the results, and we do have our winners. I'll call on now Sim from MPI Toronto to be able to give out the hardware.
Are you excited? Who's excited? Show me your excitement. Are you guys excited? Okay. We're not going to have any mess ups like Miss Universe here. Okay, I'm happy to announce the winner of the junior competition. Let's give a round of applause for Ryan Beauvais, NAV Center. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. And we have a presentation of a medal for you. Congratulations to you. Let's get a photo. Congratulations, Ryan. All right. And for our senior competition, dun, 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 dun. Guys look so pensive over there. You're all amazing. Senior winner is Brandon Zock of Banff Center. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. You want to put it on? Yeah. Over the hat. There you go. Congratulations. Brandon. Thank you, everyone. I'll turn it back over to Aaron just to close us up.
Okay. And do you want me to do? Okay. All right. So before we end up moving downstairs to the 16th floor, where we will be going in just one quick moment, without putting you on the spot too much, can I have Guy? We just want to have a little bit of a commentary on what exactly you guys were looking for in terms of what made the final cut and what you were looking for at the end of the day for the judging and what ended up happening.
Well, I think we were all unanimous that we were looking for flavor, balanced flavors. We wanted some texture. If you're putting a dish out for a large number of people, you really want to impress. People want to go away and say that was something creative and original, and we thought Brandon's dish was that. There were a lot of very good dishes out there, though. It was tough for us to make a final choice, but I think that the creativity we saw on Brandon's dish, coupled with the flavors that he brought out, made him the winner.
And Jose, if I can ask you to come up, one of the things that you're talking about, you obviously being an executive chef of a restaurant, can you explain to everybody the difference in terms of making the dish at a restaurant and then making the dish on a large scale for a conference?
Well, it comes down to, can you continue to present onto the plate the flavor and the texture? And the main thing is the junior, you can see the difference between the junior plates. It just wasn't going to be there, where the portion control, again, it's one thing to have massive pieces of meat on the plate, but if it's not going to be cooked right, it's not going to taste right, the texture is going to be terrible. You can't put that out for 500 people. The senior ones, as Guy said, it really came down to there was 3 of the seniors that we were all very close on. Brandon won out, and I think the difference for him was he really pushed the creativity level of the technique of daring to put tartare on the plate. But he not only put the tartare on the plate, but he also made it taste good, right? So at the end of the day, that was it.
Right.
And so, you know.
So replication and being able to put it out on a large scale.
For replication, again, the components on it are doable. But the main thing is that it's creative. And again, as Guy said, the people are going to come away and saying, wow, we just were at a conference, 500 people just got fed, and this was a creative dish with creative components, and it was executed well.
Well, congratulations to all the chefs. Watching you work and watching you work under that pressure, I thought you all did an amazing job to get those ingredients, have 15 minutes to prepare, and then to be able to, all of the plates that I saw looked beautiful. They looked like something I'd want to eat. They looked like something that I'm not going to suggest or admit to anything, but maybe I stuck my finger in it and licked it. I don't know. But I thought that you guys did a tremendous job, and I would be honored to come to any of your venues and eat any of your food because it just looked terrific. So a big round of applause for our chefs. Great job. I'd also like to thank our judges. Again, we have Guy, Trevor, Ken, and Jose for using their skills, their expertise, and their time to not only judge, and it would have been a tough job. It would have been an amazingly tough job, but also to give some of our chefs their guidance and their feedback, because I think that goes a long way as well. So thank you very much to you, gentlemen. Finally, I'd like to thank Andrew and Vantage Venues for supplying this beautiful space with this amazing backdrop. I won't go so far as to say it's a beautiful day, but when you're seeing it with the sun shining, it's absolutely beautiful. But this is stunning, and I've asked Andrew more than once and requested this room, and just so I could hang out by myself. But it's a side issue. Anyway, so I want to invite you all now. Oh, and also thank you very much to MPI and IACC for supporting the event and all that you do. The day is not over yet. The party continues. We are going to now move downstairs to the 16th floor. So please join us down there for our talks and our... And bring your coats, please. I was like, so please grab your coats. We'll move down to the 16th floor for our talks and for a little bit more networking. Thank you very much to everyone.